In a world increasingly defined by superficial connections and fleeting interactions, the Sigma empath emerges as a powerful and intriguing figure. This unique blend of the Sigma male's independence and the empath's deep emotional sensitivity creates a rare individual who not only understands their own feelings, but also perceives the emotional landscapes of others with remarkable clarity. Sigma empaths operate on a different wavelength, often feeling out of sync with the mainstream while simultaneously craving authentic connections. They possess an innate ability to intuitively read others, sensing unspoken emotions and motivations, which allows them to forge profound relationships without compromising their autonomy. Unlike typical empaths, Sigma empaths do not seek validation or approval. Instead, they channel their emotional insights into meaningful interactions, providing support and understanding to those around them while maintaining their self-sufficiency. This powerful combination of traits makes them both magnetic and enigmatic, as they navigate social dynamics with grace and confidence. For Sigma males who identify as empaths, the indicators of their unique nature are clear: a deep understanding of themselves, a knack for emotional perception, and a fierce commitment to authenticity, all while embracing their distinct path in a world that often demands conformity. Are you feeling like just a roommate in your own home? At the Dominance Academy, they help men boost passion, reclaim respect, and restore their power in relationships. Step into your strength and transform your intimate life. Join the Dominance Academy, where Sigma men rediscover leadership and connection. Go to the link in the description. Number 1. The outsider perspective. From a young age, Jake always felt like an outsider. While his peers chased trends and sought approval, he preferred the quiet comfort of his own company. He often retreated to a secluded spot in the park, where the rustling leaves and the gentle flow of the nearby stream created a soothing backdrop for his thoughts. This was his sanctuary, a place where he could contemplate life without the noise of societal expectations. As others engaged in the typical teenage rituals of fitting in and conforming, Jake found solace in observing the world around him. He would watch the interactions of his classmates, intrigued by their laughter and drama, but feeling no desire to join in. This keen observation shaped his understanding of human behavior, allowing him to develop an acute sense of emotional awareness. He noticed how people often masked their true feelings with smiles or bravado, and it left him feeling even more isolated. Yet, in that solitude, he began to cultivate his own identity, a unique blend of introspection and empathy that would later serve him well. Jake learned that being different didn't mean he was alone. It meant he had a distinct lens through which to view the world. Number 2. Intuitive understanding. One crisp autumn day, as leaves crunched underfoot, Jake noticed a classmate, Mia, sitting alone on a bench, tears streaming down her face. The sight tugged at his heartstrings, an instinctual reaction that compelled him to approach her. As he walked closer, he felt an overwhelming sense of sadness wash over him, almost as if her emotions were intertwining with his own. He sat down beside her, not asking what was wrong, but simply offering his presence. In that moment, Jake's intuitive understanding kicked in. He didn't need words to connect. He sensed the weight of her struggles, perhaps a recent breakup or family issues, and realized that she needed someone who could truly empathize. Jake offered a gentle smile, allowing her to speak when she was ready. As she shared her story, he listened intently, nodding and validating her feelings. His ability to understand her pain without judgment created a safe space, and slowly, Mia began to open up. Through this interaction, Jake recognized that his gift of intuition was not just a burden. It was a bridge that allowed him to connect deeply with others, forging bonds that transcended mere words. Number 3. Emotional sponges. Jake often felt like an emotional sponge, soaking up the feelings of those around him. Whether in a crowded classroom or a bustling cafe, he could sense the underlying emotions swirling in the air: joy, anxiety, frustration, and everything in between. This heightened sensitivity meant that he wasn't just aware of his own feelings, he was acutely attuned to the emotional states of others. One afternoon, while studying at a cafe, he observed a group of friends laughing boisterously at a nearby table. Their joy filled him with warmth, and he found himself smiling involuntarily. However, when a couple at another table began to argue, the tension in the air felt palpable, making Jake's heart race. He could feel the anger and hurt emanating from them, and it left him unsettled. This emotional absorption often took a toll on him, leading to moments of overwhelm when he encountered particularly intense feelings. To manage this, Jake learned to practice mindfulness, allowing himself to ground his emotions and create a barrier between himself and the emotional energies he absorbed. Through this process, he discovered the importance of recognizing his own feelings and reclaiming his emotional space, which in turn allowed him to support others more effectively. Number 4. Strong boundaries. Understanding his sensitivity was key to Jake's growth, prompting him to establish strong boundaries in his relationships. At first, he found it challenging to navigate his desire to be there for others, while also protecting his own emotional well-being. After feeling drained from multiple social interactions, he realized he needed to take a step back. Jake began to communicate openly with his friends about his limits, letting them know when he needed time alone to recharge. This newfound assertiveness didn't come easily. It required him to confront the fear of disappointing others. However, as he practiced setting boundaries, he discovered a profound sense of liberation. He learned to say no without guilt, prioritizing his emotional health. During moments of overwhelm, Jake would retreat to his favorite park spot, allowing the tranquility of nature to replenish his spirit. By carving out this personal space, he created a balance between his empathy for others and his own needs. In doing so, he not only protected himself but also modeled healthy emotional practices for his friends, showing them that it was okay to prioritize self-care. Through this journey, Jake became more resilient, embracing the strength found in healthy boundaries. Number 5. Deep connections. Jake thrived in deeper conversations, valuing substance over small talk. While many around him engaged in light-hearted banter about trivial matters, he craved discussions that explored the intricacies of life, emotions, and dreams. This longing for meaningful connections led him to seek out like-minded individuals who shared his passion for authenticity. One evening, at a friend's gathering, he found himself in a corner with a few people discussing their personal journeys. As stories unfolded, laughter mingled with tears, and Jake felt a profound sense of belonging. The discussions ranged from childhood dreams to existential fears, and he listened intently, sharing his own experiences when prompted. With each exchange, the bonds between them deepened, revealing layers of vulnerability that were rarely uncovered in casual settings. Jake realized that these moments of connection not only nourished his soul but also validated his own experiences. He often left such gatherings feeling uplifted, knowing he had forged connections that transcended superficiality. In a world where many people skated on the surface, Jake discovered the joy of diving deep, cultivating relationships that were rich, transformative, and built on mutual understanding. Number 6. The Lone Wolf. Despite his rich inner world and deep connections with a select few, Jake often found solace in solitude. He identified as a lone wolf, valuing his independence above all else. While social gatherings could be invigorating, they also drained him. He would sometimes retreat to his favorite cafe, tucked away in a quiet corner with a book and a cup of herbal tea. Here he could immerse himself in stories, exploring distant worlds and ideas without the pressure of social interaction. This time alone allowed him to recharge, reflect, and process the emotions he had absorbed from others. In these moments he found clarity, often jotting down thoughts and insights that would later fuel his creative pursuits. Being a lone wolf didn't mean Jake was antisocial. Rather, it was a conscious choice to honor his need for space. He learned to appreciate the beauty of solitude as a time for introspection and self-discovery. Through this lens, he viewed his independence as a source of strength, allowing him to navigate the complexities of life with resilience and confidence. Embracing his lone wolf identity, Jake cultivated a profound appreciation for the balance between connection and solitude. Number 7. Empathy over sympathy. Jake distinguished himself through his capacity for empathy, which often surpassed mere sympathy. While many people offered condolences and platitudes during tough times, Jake sought to truly understand the feelings behind those words. He recalled a time when a close friend faced a family crisis. Rather than simply expressing sorrow, Jake listened intently, asking questions that delved deeper into his friend's experience. He felt the pain and confusion radiating from his friend, allowing himself to be vulnerable in return. This mutual exchange forged a bond that was both comforting and transformative. Jake knew that true empathy required presence, so he resisted the urge to offer quick fixes or cliched advice. Instead, he created a space where his friend could freely express emotions without judgment. This approach not only provided solace but also fostered trust and understanding. Over time, Jake became known among his friends for his ability to genuinely connect, turning him into a beacon of support. He recognized that empathy was a powerful tool, not just for alleviating pain but for building deeper relationships, allowing him to be a source of strength and compassion in a world that often felt disconnected. Number 8. Unconventional interests. Jake's tastes often set him apart from his peers, as he gravitated toward unconventional interests that reflected his unique perspective. While others flocked to mainstream music and popular culture, he found joy in indie films, obscure literature, and niche hobbies that sparked his creativity. On weekends, he would explore local art galleries or attend underground concerts, where he felt an authentic connection to the art and the people who created it. His fascination with the unconventional allowed him to embrace a richer understanding of human experience, often leading to conversations that transcended superficial topics. At a small art exhibit, he struck up a conversation with an artist whose work challenged societal norms. They spent hours discussing the themes of isolation and identity in her pieces, connecting on a level that felt rare and precious. These experiences fueled Jake's creativity and inspired him to express his own thoughts through writing and art. He realized that his unconventional interests were not just quirks, but integral parts of his identity, providing avenues for exploration and self-expression. Embracing these interests allowed Jake to cultivate a sense of belonging in spaces where authenticity reigned, reinforcing his understanding of himself and the world around him. Number 9. Unpredictable emotions. Jake often experienced unpredictable waves of emotions that felt disconnected from his own life, leaving him bewildered yet intrigued. This phenomenon first occurred during a crowded event where laughter and excitement filled the air, yet he suddenly felt a deep pang of sadness wash over him. Confused, he searched for the source of this emotion, only to realize it wasn't his own. It was the collective energy around him. He had a gift or a burden, depending on how one viewed it, that allowed him to tap into the emotional currents of those nearby. At first, Jake struggled to manage these overwhelming sensations. They often disrupted his focus and left him feeling drained. However, over time, he began to understand the importance of acknowledging these feelings rather than suppressing them. He learned to pause and breathe, allowing the emotions to flow through him without attachment. By cultivating this awareness, he transformed what once felt chaotic into a deeper understanding of his empathic nature. Jake recognized that these unpredictable emotions were not just noise, they were insights that could help him connect with others on a more profound level, enriching his interactions and relationships. Number 10. A safe haven. Over time, Jake became the safe haven for friends seeking solace in their darkest moments. His natural empathy and intuitive understanding drew people to him, and they often turned to him for support when they faced challenges. One evening, his friend Alex arrived at his doorstep, visibly shaken after a difficult breakup. Jake opened the door and, without hesitation, welcomed him inside. Instead of jumping into a conversation about the breakup, he guided Alex to a cozy corner of his living room, filled with soft blankets and warm lighting. He offered a cup of tea and sat quietly, allowing Alex to take the lead. As his friend slowly opened up, sharing the intricacies of his pain, Jake listened intently, nodding and affirming his feelings. This simple act of being present created a sanctuary where Alex felt safe to express himself without fear of judgment. Jake understood that sometimes words were unnecessary. It was the act of listening that truly mattered. In these moments, he realized that being a safe haven for others was both a privilege and a responsibility. It deepened his own understanding of human vulnerability and strengthened his connections, reminding him of the importance of compassion in a world often fraught with suffering. Number 11. Craving authenticity. Authenticity became Jake's guiding principle, shaping his interactions and relationships. In a world filled with facades and superficiality, he yearned for connections that were genuine and real. He quickly grew disenchanted with small talk and shallow relationships that often dominated social settings. One day, at a friend's party, he found himself in a conversation that felt particularly hollow. While others discussed mundane topics, Jake felt an intense desire to steer the conversation toward something deeper. With a thoughtful smile, he asked his companions about their passions and what truly motivated them. To his delight, the energy shifted as people began to open up about their dreams, fears, and struggles. The atmosphere transformed into one of vulnerability and honesty, allowing Jake to connect with others in a way that felt authentic. This experience reaffirmed his belief that authenticity fosters genuine relationships. He sought out individuals who shared this mindset, often engaging in profound discussions that challenged him to think critically and reflect on his values. Embracing authenticity not only enriched his own life, but also encouraged those around him to be true to themselves, creating a ripple effect of honesty in his social circles. Number 12. Natural observer. In social settings, Jake often took on the role of the quiet observer. While others engaged in lively conversations, he preferred to sit back and soak in the dynamics of the room. This ability to observe without participating allowed him to gain insights into the intricate tapestry of human interactions. At a recent gathering, he noticed the subtle exchanges between friends, a knowing glance here, a nervous fidget there that told a story far deeper than the words spoken. Jake marveled at how people often communicated their feelings non-verbally, revealing their true emotions beneath layers of conversation. By observing, he could discern tensions, joy, or discomfort, providing him with a roadmap to navigate the complexities of social interactions. This perspective helped him connect more deeply with individuals, as he could approach them with a tailored understanding of their emotional state. His friends often remarked on his uncanny ability to sense when something was off, turning to him for support or guidance. Through his role as an observer, Jake embraced his gift of empathy, transforming it into a powerful tool for building meaningful connections in an often chaotic social landscape. Number 13. Conflict aversion. Jake had always been averse to conflict, often feeling overwhelmed by the emotional intensity that surrounded it. He observed how disagreements could escalate into heated arguments, leaving everyone involved feeling drained and hurt. As a sensitive individual, he found that the energy of conflict resonated deeply within him, causing him to recoil at the thought of confrontation. Instead of addressing issues head-on, Jake developed a tendency to sidestep conflicts, opting for harmony over discord. This approach, however, came with its own challenges. He realized that avoiding conflict often led to unresolved feelings simmering beneath the surface, impacting his relationships in subtle ways. To navigate this, Jake began to explore healthier ways of addressing conflict, focusing on open communication and emotional honesty. He learned to express his feelings calmly and assertively, aiming for resolution rather than avoidance. In a particularly tense moment with a friend, he chose to address the issue directly, expressing his concerns while remaining respectful. This experience taught him that confronting conflict could lead to growth and understanding, not just discomfort. Over time, Jake embraced conflict as a natural part of relationships, understanding that addressing it with empathy could ultimately strengthen his connections. Number 14. Healing presence. Jake discovered that his presence often brought comfort to those around him. Friends would often remark on how being with him felt soothing, as if they could unload their burdens and find solace in his understanding. One evening, after a particularly challenging day at work, his friend Sarah sought him out for support. As she sat on his couch, tears streaming down her face, Jake instinctively reached for her hand, offering a silent gesture of solidarity. He listened as she poured out her frustrations, allowing her to express herself fully without interruption. As the conversation unfolded, Jake shared his own experiences of similar struggles, creating a bond of shared understanding. His ability to be present and vulnerable transformed the moment into a healing experience for both of them. Jake recognized that his empathetic nature could serve as a balm for others' wounds. Over time, he honed this skill, becoming increasingly aware of how to create a safe space for those in need. His friends often left their conversations with him feeling lighter, as if a weight had been lifted. Through this journey, Jake learned that being a healing presence wasn't just about offering solutions. It was about creating connections that fostered growth and resilience. Thank you for your attention. You can now become a member of the channel by clicking the join button under this video.